Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going somewhere, well, somewhere truly unique, far beyond just tourism. We're taking a very focused look at the Sree Padmanabha Temple in Thiruvananthapuram, India. And this isn't just about architecture. We're talking about a powerhouse of spiritual discipline.
Exactly. When you look at the source material, it's never just a building. It's always described as a living tradition, a truly powerful spiritual landscape.
And it's where Lord Vishnu rests in his Anantha Shayanam pose, that eternal slumber.
That's right. So our mission today is, very specific. We want to be a kind of directional compass for you, a guide to these ancient, highly specific and, frankly, non-negotiable rules of conduct and dress. These are really the keys to unlocking the temple's sanctity.
Right, because the whole environment is designed to create a certain spiritual posture. These rules, they aren't meant to be obstacles, are they? They're more like prerequisites.
Spiritual prerequisites, that's a great way to put it. They ensure that the visitor's focus actually matches the sanctity of the deity inside.
Okay, so let's unpack that journey. Let's start with what you have to do before you even see the main sanctum, the invisible checkpoints.
Well, we have to start with the most fundamental requirement, faith adherence. The temple is absolutely rigorous on this point.
So, only practicing Hindus.
Only practicing members of the Hindu faith are permitted to enter the main temple premises. It's the initial filter, a filter for intent and belief.
Okay, so once that condition is met, the next hurdle is very modern, but the idea behind it feels ancient. You call it the digital fast. In a world where our phones are basically attached to us, this must feel like a huge deal.
It's a major commitment to being present. Absolutely no electronics inside the temple walls.
No electronics at all.
Zero. That means no phones, no cameras, and this is a key one now, no smartwatches. They all have to come off.
Wow.
Everything has to be deposited at these secure official cloakrooms. You'll find them just outside the main east gate.
That sounds difficult. We're just so conditioned to document everything, How does this forced separation really serve the temple's spiritual purpose?
It's rooted in something much deeper than just security. It's a concept from yoga, actually. Pratyahara.
The fifth limb of yoga, right? Withdrawal of the senses.
Exactly. Withdrawal from external objects. By forcing you to surrender your devices, the things that are constantly screaming for your attention, the temple ensures that the space is reserved for internal reflection, for devotion, not for, recording or posting.
So it's not a logistical rule, it's a spiritual instruction. Silence the noise.
Precisely. You are literally shedding the digital skin of the 21st century. And then, once your footwear is stored and you pass a standard security check, you're just mentally unburdened. You've physically shown that your intention is spiritual.
Right.
This act of shedding the modern world ensures that when you step under that great tower, you're ready to receive the experience, not just consume it.
That transition sounds transformative. From all the noise of the city and our digital lives to just complete focus. But the rules get even more specific. This is where the physical transformation starts. We have to talk about dressing for divinity, because the dress code at Sree Padmanabha is maybe the most visually unique requirement of any major temple.
It is. It's the next mandatory checkpoint. And this isn't just about, being generally respectful. This is about dressing in alignment with centuries of a very specific Keralite tradition. It prepares your body and your mind for entry.
Okay, let's break it down. For gentlemen first, because this is a pretty striking physical change. What exactly do men have to wear? And I guess, what can't they wear?
The code is very precise. Men must be bare-chested.
Bare-chested. The whole torso has to be uncovered.
The entire torso. And below the waist, they have to wear a mundu or a dhoti. That's the traditional white or cream fabric you wrap around your waist.
And what about a shawl or something?
You can have an angavastram, which is a simple shawl, but it can only be carried or draped respectfully over the shoulder. The chest has to remain exposed.
That bare-chested rule is so symbolic. What's the philosophy behind that? It feels like it's asking for a certain vulnerability.
It absolutely mandates humility and equality. Historically, a bare chest symbolizes purity, simplicity, reverence before the divine. By stripping away clothing that might signal wealth or status like a fancy shirt, all men become equal in the eyes of the deity. They're presenting themselves in the simplest, purest form without that veil of worldly identity.
That makes so much sense. You're stripping away your ego along with your shirt.
Yeah.
Okay, but what about the practical side? I mean, a lot of visitors are going to show up in jeans or trousers. How does that work?
And that brings us to the famous adjustment rule. If a gentleman arrives in trousers, he has to rent or buy a mundu from a counter right there, and he has to wear it over his trousers.
Over them, so you don't take your pants off?
No, you don't. The traditional garment has to be actively put on over what you're wearing.
Okay, that detail is really interesting, and it forces a bit of a difficult question. Wearing the mundu over Western trousers, it feels like a compromise. Doesn't that, dilute the tradition a bit? Like it's just spiritual window dressing.
That's a fascinating point, but the temple's view is that the key thing is the act of devotion, the act of compliance. The sources suggest that the action of wrapping that mundu over your clothes is the required sign of humility.
It's a physical signal.
It's a physical signpost that you understand and you accept the temple's rules. You're prioritizing their tradition over your convenience. It's about the rule of the space over the comfort of the individual.
That completely reframes it. It's a performance of respect that matters. And for ladies, the rules are just as specific.
Absolutely. For women, the acceptable traditional wear is a sari, a half sari, or a traditional long skirt and blouse.
And the same adjustment rule applies.
The exact same principle. If a woman arrives wearing, say, Western pants, or even another type of Indian outfit like a salwar kameez, she also has to rent a mundu or dhoti and wrap it over her current clothing before she can go in.
So it's about consistency. Everyone, no matter what, has to visually conform to this standard of traditional simplicity.
It's a complete physical and mental preparation. Once you're properly dressed and unburdened by your phone, you're finally ready to cross the sacred threshold.
And what a threshold it is. So now we're standing at the East Gate. You're just confronted by the sheer scale of this seven-tiered Gopuram, this huge tower.
Yeah.
It's covered in these incredible sculptures just climbing toward the sky.
And that Gopuram isn't just an impressive entrance, it's a symbolic transition. The 7 tiers often represent the 7 planes of existence. So before you even step inside, you look up at that complexity and it reminds you. You are leaving the mundane world. You're entering the cosmic.
That must be so grounding after all the logistical hurdles. But okay, you pass under that giant tower, through the last security check, and there's one more physical act, right? Purification.
That's right. Before you step onto the main temple pavement, there's a designated spot. It's a brief, mandatory ritual washing of the hands and feet.
Just a small act.
A very small, quick act, but it's the physical signal that you are now cleansed, purified, ready to enter the space where Lord Vishnu resides. It just solidifies the idea that the temple is for the pure in heart and body.
Let's talk about the payoff then. You've shed the phone, shed the normal clothes, you've put on the mundu, washed your feet, passed under this symbolic gateway. What's that final sensory experience like, stepping over that threshold into the prepared space?
The transition it's immediate and profound. First, you feel the cool, solid granite under your bare feet. It's like an anchor to the temple's age. But the biggest thing is the sound. The soundscape just shifts completely.
All the city noise just disappears.
It completely fades away. Honking, the chatter, it's gone. And it's replaced by the sounds of quiet devotion. You might hear the low hum of distant chanting, the ring of a small bell. But mostly, it's this deep, focused stillness.
It sounds like the cumulative effect of all these rules, these seemingly burdensome rules, is to guarantee this incredibly immersive spiritual experience. It's not a quick tourist stop. The temple actually enforces the quiet.
That is the core takeaway. If you connect all these checkpoints, the digital ban, which is basically pratyahara, to the physical transformation of the mundu, they are all designed to enforce a complete mental and physical transformation upon entry. The protocols ensure that devotion, humility, and respect absolutely precede access. They are powerful, ancient tools to filter out distraction.
So what this really means for us is that these rules aren't just arbitrary. They're not bureaucratic hurdles. They're the keys to accessing the spiritual power of the site. They demand a focused presence that we so rarely achieve in our normal lives.
And this raises a really important question for all of us, connecting this ancient tradition to our modern lives. If a tradition this ancient mandates this level of preparation, this stripping away of our modern selves, our phones, our clothes, just for spiritual entry, what essential rituals or what kind of digital fasts could we apply in our own daily lives to create those same spaces? Spaces for true reflection, for quiet devotion, and for real internal focus.
A profound thought to ponder the next time you hesitate before putting your phone down. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the powerful sanctity and unyielding rules of the Sree Padmanabha Swami Temple. We'll see you next time.